atomically.
Interesting time to be alive and work in the field that I work in. I mean, a lot of the stuff, and I will say this much: the police department in my area has actually reached out to me on several occasions, and I have actually witnessed and then spoke on their use of force class at the police academy here.
Oh shit!
And as well as their sexual assault and trafficking class. I actually partake in teaching that now here.
Wow.
So, and that goes for not just the police academy for that one. That also goes because I'm currently working with one of the leading SANE nurses here in Wisconsin. I'm actually working with her to implement a protocol for EMS to help people who are that they are actually running a call on be able to identify them without them having to say anything.
Interesting.
So we're still working out all of the extra little things because the other big thing is how do we get this information out to them without getting out to the perpetrators? That's the hardest one. So it's more of a back of the rig situation than anything else right now. And we're trying to make it so that it's actually more when we arrive on scene, when we're in the house, stuff like that. But that's something big that I'm working on. But also this use of force and then de-escalation, because they've taken some pretty big steps, and I will commend them on it. They implemented a 13 person committee that citizen committee that reviews all use of citizen. that was the big thing with it when I was talking with the chief about it, and only 2 of the people are my color.
Out of 13.
Out of 13. That reviews all use of force instances and gives recommendations.
Now, if they find a discrepancy, what type of leverage do they have?
Well, at that point in time, they have the leverage of having the officer removed from patrol.
Okay.
And placed into several, like basically retaking the de-escalation and use of force classes. And then also it is a once a month checkup with them at that point in time, but they also have to go through a mental health screening.
Oh shit!
In order to get back on the streets. And the mental health screening, there we go, is through an independent. It's not by the police. It's an independent person who does the screening, who actually they have, I want to say 8 or 9 here in the area that actually do that screening. So you don't know which one you're going to get.
It's a pretty good model.
I was thoroughly pleased when they came out with it.
Interesting.
Because all I said was they need to do something. Something has to be done to address it. Something has to be done now. Luckily, in my community, use of force has been on the downswing for about 10 years. They've only had 1 officer-involved shooting in those 10 years, and that was someone who showed up at a workplace with a firearm. That person, and that I completely understand.
Yeah,
that one 100% justified. Unfortunately, the gunman wasn't the only one who lost their life that day. But that was the last one in the last close to 10 years that there's been an officer-involved shooting here in this community. And I got to give it to them. And I mean, we're talking if you take someone to the ground too hard, And every single time there's a use of force, a sergeant is called to the scene to assess the situation and figure out. And generally, they will relieve the officer until everything is looked at. They pull the body cam footage immediately and begin the review process. And it's usually within 72 hours they have a response from the committee. Hey, this is okay. Hey, this is what we suggest. And our chief will then take that into their consideration and figure out exactly the course of action. But the one thing he promised when he implemented this is that it will never be a nothing was done situation. Something will always be done.
Good.
Some action will always come of this if there's a recommendation.
Well,
so
thank goodness.
I got to give it to him on that. That's a huge step in the right direction. They're also basically having the older people on the force kind of pushing them into retirement. People who have been here for far too long. Now our chief, he is retiring, and I don't know who's taking over yet. We won't know that until I think next month. But he is taking part in all the interview process and has basically promised everyone that's been involved with all of this little side action that's been going on that they will be as progressive, if not more progressive, than he is. And I got to give it to him. That's another one more step. You're actually taking action to change the views. I mean, we have all but I think 4 officers that actually. There's 4 officers that live outside of the community, but they also work on PDs in those communities that they live in, and so they're part-time here and full-time there. So, but they're within a half-hour driving distance, so they're familiar.
And you're in Wisconsin.
That's the big thing. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
A bunch of little podunk towns. With a couple big ones placed in there somewhere. So, you got Madison, you got Milwaukee, you got Green Bay, and then everything else it's either a small town that behaves like a big town or a big city, or it's a small town that behaves like a small town. So I'll give it to them for this community, which is a very, I wouldn't say it's a good mixture of rural and urban, but it is a lot of farming that goes on in the area, and to have a police department be able to do this and then turn around and have the community stand behind it, it says a lot. It says a heck of a lot, and I got to commend him on that. That was it, because initially it had some pushback because it was an immediate the far right that does live here was immediately, oh, you're just going to just be firing all the officers. This is how they're going to defund the police. You're just going to fire all the. That's not what we're doing. We're
accountability.
Just trying to change the persona, change the culture within the police department.
There it is. Change the culture.
That's what needs to happen.
This culture, yeah, absolutely.
Now, the sheriff's department, that's a whole nother monster. I still have a lot of work to do with them.
Good luck with that, man.
Well, I am in charge of their Narcan training, and if I feel like they aren't able to do that properly, I can pull them from the street. They have to be Narcan certified in order to be on the street.
Bam.
And there's a couple officers that they don't knock it off quickly. Since I've interacted with them, next go around, we're gonna have some conversations, because I have to do ride-alongs with them, and unfortunately, right now our overdoses are on the upswing. massively. I mean,
is there an age cohort with that situation due to school being out, or is this?
Nope. This has been since March.
What the hell?
We have had over. I think we just hit 167 overdoses since March in this community of less than 100,000 people.
What was that number
we're
again?
talking
100 and what?
167.
In a 4-month span.
Mm-hmm. There was a week. Was it 3 weeks ago that we had 19 in a week?
Is there a common narcotic here, or is this across the board?
There's a common narcotic.
Oh boy!
And it's heroin, and we're actually starting to see a lot more fentanyl, but it is Narcan-resistant fentanyl.
Oh,
so it's a losing battle from the get-go.
How in the world these people? Never mind. God,
well, what kind of sucks is a lot of these small towns are becoming thoroughfares from Chicago to Madison. I'm in southern Wisconsin, and we're seeing a lot of, they're using these back roads, and there's a lot of empty, abandoned buildings that they're using, and it's sad. It's sad to see. Unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of our homeless population be affected by it, which, already breaks my heart that we have the size homeless population that we have.
Right.
And then to turn around and see that this is, I understand wanting to get out of your situation even for a minute, but to have this go on, it's heartbreaking all around. And I mean, we're seeing our age range for this. I think our youngest was 14 and our oldest was mid 60s.
Wow, mid 60s.
Mm-hmm.
14.
Yeah.
I mean,
it hurts to even hear,
Oh man, so many avenues to this whole situation. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, it's very sad, and so it's one of those things where we see it, and it's not even it's not just spanning ages, it's spanning races, it's spanning classes. I mean, we just recently had somebody who they were mid 30s, early 40s, somewhere in there, and from a very predominant family in the area.
Oh,
very predominant. They were very successful in what they did, and lived in a very nice part of town, and so it's not just the fact that it's so widespread. It's hard to corner it. It's hard to be able to corner it down to just, hey, okay, so we need to focus all of our efforts here. It's widespread. Doesn't matter where you are at this point. Someone's going to be up to no good at this point.
Right. The thing that gets me is once these people overdose, you can't ask them what they were thinking beforehand. What happened? What led up to it? What type of state of mind were you in? Did you just fuck up? I mean,
well, I mean, every once, I shouldn't say every once in a while. We're sitting at depressing, but we're sitting at about a 60% resuscitation rate with these, and when they do come around, some of them are willing to talk. Other ones are I mean, we have people that we brought back who have straight up pulled all the stickers off, got up and walked out of the ER. They didn't want to talk. They didn't want anything else done. They pulled their IVs out and left.
AMA.
Yep. Huh. And we're talking within 5 minutes of us ceasing, resuscitation attempts because we got pulses back. When we in the EMS community talk about, or in the medical community altogether, talk about overdoses, it is one of the most bizarre things that we encounter.
Interesting.
Because you got people that we don't know how long they were down. We got pulses back. We don't know what kind of neurological stuff we're going to have at the end of it. And then we have people who, within 5 minutes, extubate themselves, which is painful and brutal, and pull all their stickers off and walk out and tell us they don't want anything else done. They're fine. They're good. And leave in, shorts, no socks, nothing else. And just walk out of the ER into the community like that.
The state of mind that people have to be in to do that.
It's wild.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I'm just like, wow. I would like to just sit down and just interview these people. Like, what are you about? What's going on through your head? I mean, interesting. But anyway, let's talk about something happy, Austin. Hold on, let me think about it. Shit.
I'll leave it to me to take us down the dark avenue real quick.
I'm trying to find what can we talk about that's happy? I don't know.
Well, what have you been up to? We talked a lot about me. Let's hear about you, bro.
Wow, bro. So I've taken on some more responsibilities. For folks who don't know this, I'm not sure if you know this neither. So I've been a part of Rotary Club for about 5 years now.
Okay.
I've been given this chair position, so I'm trying to. I have a notepad right here. I've been researching, Rotary Club websites and all this other stuff. So I have to form a team of Rotary members to get our public image together. So it's crazy. On top of the live audio entertainment, I have a gig tomorrow. Matter of fact, voiceover I've been busy, bro. I've been pretty busy. I'm happy, but I've been busy as hell, man. I'm loving life, man. I can't complain. Be honest with you. These two.
Let's hear. So we on TikTok.
Yeah.
3 years now?
Yeah.
Well, years ago.
Yeah, I got on. Yeah, I got on. It'll be 4 for me this year. I came on in 2019.
4 for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got on in 2019. I don't think I really started posting until
about 2020.
Late 2019, early 2020.
I think early 2020 is when we crossed paths, I believe. We started communicating.
Yep. And I had my head shoved so far up my head. Pardon my language, but oh man. I look back on it now, and I'm just like, how did Dua deal with me? I remember one of the first times that we did, podcast stuff, and it was just Trump this, Trump that. I was all for it. I had swallowed the red pill willingly and whole, and it was. I don't know why you weren't like, dude, go kick rocks, bro.
Well,
we're all done.
People have signs, there's certain cues, so to say, that people have. And that's why I have a back and forth with people, because I learned a long time ago not to judge, man, because sometimes you'll get that shit wrong. So I just ask questions. I poke, prod, see how you react to things, and if you're level headed, more than likely you'll probably listen to information and engage information, and just back and forth Q&A kind of thing, and hey, read up on this. You might want to look at this. Oh, we'll check this out, and people who actually do that. Well, oh shit, what I've been lied to. And then it's the whole stages of grief thing, the anger, the resentment, and it's a process. But you have to be willing to talk to people. You got to be willing to ask questions. And bro, you seem like a level-headed dude.
I try. Even back then, I was trying. I was trying so hard, and it went against everything to my core, because one of my biggest things is if you have to defend somebody on an almost constant basis, it's not worth it. Obviously there's something there that you need that needs to be dealt with. Yeah. And I was going against everything with that. I was having to justify this, that, and the other. And then forget the night that I was like, I'm out, man. I'm done. And it was the debate where they straight up asked him, can you here on this stage right now denounce white supremacy? And instead of taking that option, that it doesn't matter how many times you say, I don't care if you've said it 19 times or 9 million times. You always take that opportunity. And instead, he talked about the Proud Boys. Stand by whatever it is that and I'm just like,
stand down and stand by.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, no, you don't miss an opportunity. You were given a golden opportunity. It was literally handed to you, like everything else in your life. And and so it was after that point that I was like, yeah, all right, I'm out. I can't do it anymore. Like I've tried to justify every single thing that this man has said and done, and you're not supposed to do that. That's one of my big things. If you have to justify more than 3 things that a person does, it's over.
There it is.
You get 3 chances and you're out. And and then it was like, then I started asking questions. I've been asking questions the entire time, but I had really started reading, and I had really started actually, thanks to you, looking into the history, the real history. And I was like, wow, teach me jack squat in school, man. Good. Bro, what is this?
It hurts my feelings, man. I still got the textbooks when I was teaching it. It's just like they squash like a 150-year period into like a paragraph and tell you to move on. Like, no.
Yeah, exactly. And so and my favorite thing is that, people sit there and go, oh, well, if they taught the real thing, that's critical race. No, that's history. That's actual historical facts. I know that they're not big fans of those. We get that, okay? There's a lot of things that they're not big fans of when it comes to, the whole entire COVID thing was another eye-opener.
Oh, wow.
That was
another in medicine,
and I work in medicine, and I had to deal with that. I had to sit there and listen to this, and I had to sit there, and I'm not joking. I had somebody, and this was not too long ago. This was this year. They came in, classic COVID symptoms. Classic. Can't taste anything, can't smell anything, slight fever, shortness of breath. And I go, okay, hey, like, were you vaccinated for COVID? And they told me straight up, absolutely not. I will not be putting that DNA therapy in my body. I was like, oh, okay.
DNA.
They were thoroughly convinced that it was going to mutate their DNA. That's what the M stood for.
These fearsome shadow warriors were known as ninjas.